Lead magnets definitely don't work to drive sales meetings on LinkedIn ads, right? I'm about to blow your mind on this week's episode of the LinkedIn Ads Show.
Welcome to the LinkedIn Ads Show. Here's your host, AJ Wilcox.
Hey there, LinkedIn Ads fanatics. As he said, I'm AJ Wilcox. I'm the host of the weekly podcast, the LinkedIn Ads Show. I'm thrilled to welcome you to the show for advanced B2B marketers who want to evolve and master their LinkedIn ads craft and achieve true pro status. I've heard it from tons of B2B marketing thought leaders and experts. Lead magnets don't work. Sure, you can get people to fill out a form and get your downloadable content, but then when sales reaches out to them, they hear nothing back or get ghosted. Not a great recipe for driving sales conversations and closed business. But let me tell you something, I was wrong. I'm going to introduce you to the man who proved me wrong, Ian Nelson. He's a good friend of mine here in Utah. His specialty is lead magnets that actually drive meetings and closed business. When he first told me about his specialty, I was skeptical, but boy, did he prove me wrong. I needed to bring him on the show to tell you exactly how to create lead magnets that actually drive sales.
The LinkedIn Ads Show is proudly brought to you by B2Link.com, the LinkedIn ads experts.
B2Linked is the ad agency 100% dedicated to LinkedIn ads, and we have been since 2014. You know, back before it was cool. We build a custom strategy for every account we work with. You get to work directly with me and my local team. You won't get a cookie cutter approach or a standard account template from us. No siree. Plus, with the strategies that we've developed with our mastery of the platform, we always save our clients more than we charge. So it's kind of like getting the best in the biz for free. If you'd like to explore partnering with us for your LinkedIn ads management, schedule your free discovery call with me at b2linked.com/discovery. First in the news, block lists are now available for right rail ads. This really intrigued me. This is what LinkedIn said about it as part of their release. As part of our ongoing efforts to provide advertisers with trusted experiences on LinkedIn, we are launching block lists for entities on LinkedIn. This solution empowers brands with choice and control, allowing you to block profiles or pages that do not align with your brand's needs. Once an advertiser creates and applies a block list, ads from that campaign will not show in the right rail, adjacent to blocked pages or profiles. Then they link to the help article all about it. So immediately my question is, why do we need block lists for text ads and dynamic ads? They're of course only right rail ads. And you've always been able to use exclusion lists to block certain companies or individuals. But I looked into it a little bit more and I think I understand what's happening. So anytime someone is navigating around LinkedIn, if they're looking at a company page or looking at an individual, your text ads and your dynamic ads can show up on that page. And advertisers might be wary of having their ads show up on an individual or a company's page that they may not feel like aligns with their values. So that's kind of cool. Check out the show notes if you want more details. You can click over to the LinkedIn help page and read more about how that works. Then one of our loyal listeners, Thibaut Weller, reached out to me and mentioned that they noticed that there was a metric that was gone. So I wanted to reach out to all of you fanatics out there to see if you know anything about this. This is if you go into the new companies section that we've talked about in previous episodes, there used to be a metric there called members reached. But now that column that we used to have data in is gone. And sure enough, I went and compared, and yeah, that metric that I used to have is also gone for me. So I'm curious if it's gone for you as well. The reason why this metric was so valuable is that we could divide the impressions by the number of members reached in each company to get a feel for how many people in the company were actually seeing our ads over a 90-day period. It would give you an idea if it was one person who was seeing your ads a ton, or if it's 50 people who've all seen it a little bit. It's a great metric to be able to track. And LinkedIn product team, if you're listening, I would love for you to let me know if this is something that was intentional or if it's making a comeback. If not, please take this to heart. That's one that we would absolutely love to get back. Next, one of my favorite LinkedIn ad reps is Paula Merrick. She shared something with me that I knew was coming, but I had no idea that it had already arrived. This is our ability to build predictive audiences off of company lists. So in the past, we've been able to build predictive audiences from individuals, a list of companies, or individuals who are part of a retargeting audience. But now these are doing a lookalike based off of companies. So what you might say is, hey, LinkedIn, here is a list of all of the companies who've become our customers over the years. Create a lookalike audience and find companies who look similar and let me be able to target them. So I checked, and sure enough, this is in even many of our smaller accounts. So likely by the time you're listening, you've got access to it. If you go into plan and then audiences, you can click create audience as a predictive audience, and then you can choose the source of a company list. I'm really excited to test this out because we've had extreme success using predictive audiences before. So now I'm really excited to test this flavor. If any of you have tried it, please reach out to me at podcast@b2linked.com. Let me know your experience with this, if it's performed better or worse than other company lists that you might have in your account. All right, do you have a question, a review, or feedback for the show? Message me on LinkedIn, or you can email us at podcast@b2linked.com. Feel free to attach a link to a voice recording from you, and I can play it right here on the show. And just let me know if you want me to keep you anonymous. All right, without further ado, let's hit it. All right, everyone, I'm super excited to introduce you guys to Ian. Ian is a lead magnet specialist. He has extensive experience both building, creating, and managing lead magnets and funnels that fill sales calendars with booked appointments. Ian, so excited to have you on the show. So excited to have you as both I'll call you a pseudo partner here, and friend. Welcome to the show.
AJ, I am so glad to be a part of this. I've been hoping at one point in time that I'd be able to be a guest, and now here I am. So I am so happy to be here, man.
Pleasure is all mine. I've been really excited to have this because for about the last 6 years, I would say, in business to business, there is this understanding that marketers say lead magnets don't work. And actually, when you and I started chatting, I mean, we've been friends for years, but we just started chatting here about a year ago. That was the first thing I said to you is like, wow, you're going all in on lead magnets. Like, I don't see them work very well with what our clients do. So since you have proven me wrong, I was so excited to have you on and share everything you know about them with the LinkedIn Ads Fanatics.
Absolutely. So yeah, about a year ago, just giving you guys a little context, I had worked extensively. At the time, I was a VP of a company, and my team and I, we had all sorts of different kinds of clients that we had worked with, helping them generate leads, and we'd create funnels and other things like that. The company's absolutely amazing. And as I was working with them, you're right, we would actually get this question quite a bit, because a lot of times we've had individuals that would say to us, hey, I've worked with clients before. I've had funnels built before. I've had all sorts of these kind of free offers offered before, but they would simulate this common issue. We would always get leads, but these leads never went anywhere. We couldn't get them to book. When we called them, they wouldn't pick up the phone, like all sorts of different kinds of things here. And I definitely at that time really dove deep into this issue and trying to figure out, okay, why is the case? And I'm hoping if that's okay, that I can kind of just dive deep into this, because for me here, this is a really important distinction. So shall we dive deep?
Yes. Before we do, let me just ask the question, just in case anyone got left behind here. Can you define what a lead magnet is for us and how most in business to business have been using lead magnets?
Yes. So in traditional sense for a lead magnet is something that you offer, whether that be free or paid, kind of low ticket in some ways, to get the conversation going or to build trust. That's the offering. Now, the other aspect of that is the funnel that delivers that message. So when I refer to lead magnet, I'm referring to both the offer and the funnel that is associated with that offer. Does that make sense?
Perfectly.
Yeah, perfect. Awesome. So before we even dive deep into like what goes into the lead magnet and things like that, let's first talk about the client. Because the truth of the matter is, when it comes to lead magnets and conversion, it has nothing to do with actually what we think they want. It's all about what the client wants. So every clientele that we're trying to reach, whenever I'm trying to build a lead magnet for a client or an individual or a business, I first understand the destination that my target audience wants to go to. That's the most important aspect about any of this. I'm just going to kind of put down A to Z. A, I need to understand where they are currently, and Z, where are they trying to go? And the more specific I can make that definition of where they're trying to go, the better. And so let's say, for example, my target is CEOs, because I know through LinkedIn, CEO is one of the most common titles that are there. And so there's by nature a lot of businesses, B2B, that are hoping to get the attention of CEOs. And so a lot of the times we have to understand first, where's the CEO going? Where are they trying to go? What is that destination that they have in mind? Now, fortunately for us and CEOs, revenue. That is their big thing that's always on their mind. How can I get my company? How can I move the needle? How can I get my company from where it is right now to where I want it to be? And oftentimes, if we can further define that to specific amounts. So let's say I'm a CEO of a $20 million company and I'm trying to get it to $100 million. Right there, that's a good way to be able to map out this destination. I want $100 million company. I want to bring my company to $100 million. And so that, if we understand that destination first, $100 million company, I'm also, for those that are actually watching this as well, I do things a lot visually. It helps me kind of think, but also direct. And so I'm going to be doing both. I'm going to be announcing like what it is that I'm drawing out, so that way we can actually see it. But I'm just going to share my screen real quick. So if we just assumed the destination is $100 million, and let's say we then label out where they are currently. Let's say it's $10 million. Let's say I'm at a $10 million company. I'm trying to go to $100 million. So this customer journey, there are checkpoints from where they are right now to where they're trying to go. Because you don't just in one jump go from 10 million to 100 million. There are specific little points that you as the expert, if you are trying to target CEOs and trying to help them increase in revenue, there are specific points that they are essentially needing help with to get to that 100 million mark. And so in order to create something that works, we need to deeply understand the checkpoints. We didn't know the pieces. And so when someone tells me, putting it all back, that, oh, the lead magnet doesn't work, the ones that I've tried don't work, oftentimes it's because the thing that they're offering happens to fall outside of this natural path, or it's too vague. So for example, let's say this analogy that we're using, CEO, like, let's say I'm a coach that teaches CEOs how to be better CEOs. If I just offered something like, hey, here's a free guide to be a better CEO, it's okay, but it's not specific enough to help me move one step closer to my actual destination. And so as a result, it's not something that I'm really interested in. Whereas if I offered like, hey, here's the exact framework that I used to coach, or this one individual that I've trained or coached, how they took a $10 million company and were to hit 100 million within the year. And this is the exact step-by-step framework of how they did that. Because that's more specific, that is a lot more enticing to an individual. So it's not that they don't work. And I'm sure you've had this, AJ, as well, where some people have told you, LinkedIn ads are not going to work because they're too expensive, too blah, 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 insert objection here. And in reality, it's like, no, it has to be done in a certain way. And for me, whenever I'm explaining it to individuals, it's this. It's all about the customer journey and it's all about the destination. It has to help them get one step closer to their exact destination that they're trying to go.
Makes perfect sense. So just offering someone something that they find interesting does not a great lead magnet make.
Correct.
I've seen this too, like a team who just says, hey, we're trying to reach senior marketers. Let's create a piece of content that they want to put in their information to download about how to be a better marketer. And then when sales goes to follow up later, they hear crickets. There's no actual motivation for that individual to respond to someone in sales because they got what they wanted.
Absolutely. You got it right there.
Okay, so cool. All right, so I love how you set this up. So we're thinking about the audience, what they actually want and what they are motivated to do. Because when you understand their actual pain points, that's when the rubber hits the road. Is there a lot of research that goes into this?
Yes. And a lot of the times it has to do with how well you understand your own clientele. And the best form of research you could possibly do is with your existing clientele. A lot of the times when you talk with your existing clientele, if you're able to define the steps that led before the sale, that gives you so much power in understanding how you can best serve them and how you can help them. Because the truth is, at any stage of our journey, we are at varying stages of awareness when it comes to what our problems are and the solutions that are there. And what's important too is if we interview our own existing clientele and understand like the process that they went through, you'll see that they were first most likely aware of a problem that they had. And then as they started naturally looking for solutions, they kind of got stuck. There's always going to be points where they get stuck. And those points of where they get stuck can be turned into some of the best lead magnets. Because if you address someone that is stuck, they are much more likely to be motivated to talk with you, because if you hold a solution that gets them unstuck, then they're gonna move.
Oh, that's fantastic. I love this. All right, so you gave us this example of helping a CEO get from 10 to 100 million. What are some of the lead magnets, just so we can be thinking and applying it to our own companies? What are some of the kinds of lead magnets that are working right now? And maybe I could throw on there, what doesn't work? What should we avoid?
Yes. So first, to say like what isn't working, vague lead magnets that give value that doesn't necessarily help them get one complete step forward. That's what's not working right now. But what is working, there's many different kinds. And let's go kind of talk about some of the ones that are easiest to replicate and the ones that are best. Now, before I get into this though, I do want to share an important thing. There is a difference between lead magnets that get opt-ins and lead magnets that get booked appointments. There are two styles, and that's something that's very important to know, because a lot of B2B companies or B2C that are looking to generate more leads, they want an end all of booked appointments, which then leads to more sales, but they might be using a lead magnet that's only designed to get opt-ins. And so that's why they might not actually finding their success too, is because it's just, they happen to just be using a mismatch of what type of lead magnet they're going to be using. So first, let's talk about like what most people use these days and are finding success with is the essentially downloadables is what I refer to them. So oftentimes newsletters or PDF guides, ebooks, courses, like webinars, those types of lead magnets are very powerful, especially if you're running to a cold audience, individuals that don't really know you and aren't probably going to buy right away. Now, the importance to understand with this too is if the end goal is high ticket sales or some form of higher end offer, an individual is going to need to interact, or they're going to need to trust you more if they're going to be willing to buy from you. And so the goal of a lead magnet that's like a newsletter or opt-in, a downloadable, a quick, easy one, is to get your foot in the door so that way they can start trusting you. So you can essentially be top of mind and start building a relationship. Now, these are very powerful, especially if you are trying to become a thought leader or an individual that you're hoping to be able to essentially gain social proof. Because when it comes to us and lead magnets, anything that you claim or that you offer is a lot more believable if you already have a good amount of proof. So if you don't have a lot of proof concerning what you're doing, downloadable lead magnets are a very powerful way to start getting that proof. Now, once they're in your world, though, once you've got them downloaded to your thing and whatever it is that you're offering, you now need something. If you're trying to get booked appointments to then convert into a high ticket sale, you're going to need to have one more offer in place that invites them to want to book a call. Because a lot of the times, many individuals or businesses, what they'll do is they'll have a newsletter. Let's say it is still the CEO. Hey, how to become, a multi-million-dollar CEO, or how to grow your company to a certain point. Join our newsletter and share all the strategies, blah, blah. And as soon as they hop on, then all of a sudden they deliver the thing, and then they try to get them to book appointments just right there and then, and just say, hey, want to book an appointment with me? And they don't really have anything else to offer. A lot of the times people, they don't, unless you give them a good reason to book an appointment, they won't. You need one more additional thing to offer. And so what we have seen that helps increase booked appointments is if you are able to give essentially a one-time free service that helps them along a specific narrow point in their journey, or if you're able to offer something like a Grand Slam offer. For example, this is a high ticket one. I love this example that I'm about to share with you because this is by far one of the most difficult things to sell. High ticket furniture, high end furniture. This is a very, very difficult thing to sell because it's a complete luxury. It is absolutely a want, not a need. And so as a result, it's very, very hard to get people to actually commit to it and move forward. But this is a company called Crate and Barrel. They are absolutely brilliant, and when it comes to their design and their high-end furniture, but they have an even more brilliant lead magnet that they have discovered. So to give you context of what they did, they realized as they were going through their customer journey, like how I was describing to you before, like labeling out their destination of what they wanted to go, they talked to their existing clientele and noticed a very interesting theme. Many of the individuals that actually ended up purchasing their high-end furniture pieces, and by purchase I mean usually spending, $5,000 to $10,000 or more on different furniture pieces, they all went through a very specific part of their journey, and they were all stuck at one very specific point. And the point was, before they even thought about buying, it was interior design. It was strategy. And by strategy, I mean they were all trying to figure out how they were going to change up a room. They all had a specific room in their minds that they were trying to spruce up, they were trying to make into a certain way, but oftentimes they did not have the skill or the know-how to figure those pieces out. And so Crate and Barrel noticed that in their interviews, and they're like, oh, that's really interesting. So they decided, let's start serving people in that specific moment in interior design. Because if we can help influence them in those particular pieces, maybe they'll be more interested in our furniture. So what they ended up creating was something called, and this is a very powerful lead magnet, the design desk, where basically any project, any budget, they will 100% for free help you design any room that you want in your house.
Wow.
They will just completely, and you don't even have to buy Crate and Barrel furniture. You don't have to do anything. This is just a free service where what will happen is they will either meet with you in person at one of their showrooms, or they'll come to you in your house. They'll go to your house, or they can hop on a video call, and from there they can map it out. And as soon as they map out and understand your space, they will personally recreate your entire space in 3D. And so that from that point in time, you can now work with them to redesign your entire room or your home or whatever it is that you want. And naturally, they are going to include other Crate and Barrel types of things in there based on whatever budgets that you have, and they'll give you different options. And then from there, what ends up happening is you collaborate with them. And so when I talk about one-time free services, what I'm talking about is collaboration. Because Crate and Barrel figured out one thing, and as they did this, they started able to close more sales. They ended up selling more of their high-end furnitures. And I don't have the exact numbers with this, but I do know that they've been spending ads for the past years on this lead magnet specifically, and they have not stopped. And they've just constantly been pushing it and pushing it and pushing it because they know that if someone comes in and collaborates with them and then sees the different pieces of Crate and Barrel furniture that's in their home, they fall in love with what has been created. And then they are far more likely to be able to actually then want to buy. And so how this applies to us in business is, in the past, It used to be where we would essentially sell the secrets and sell the implementation, if you've ever heard of that before. And at some point in time, it started shifting in the markets because the secrets started becoming more known. And when everyone's super, no one will be. Now, anyway, that's Syndrome, Incredibles reference for you guys. Everyone started understanding the secrets, and not fully understanding it, but they've heard it enough to a point where now the secrets were starting to get less and less value when it came to actually purchasing them. So then it started shifting when more Alex Hormozy and others started pushing this, where it then became give away the secrets, sell the implementation. Where if you just let people know through free content, all the different things that you're doing and all sorts of stuff, people are naturally going to want to come towards you and they're naturally going to want to help and get your implementation. Well, there's one further of that. And that is, and this is what Crate and Barrel did here with this one-time free service. If you can guide your target with the secrets personally, and you can help guide their strategy or at least collaborate with their strategy, they will buy your implementation. And that's what this kind of lead magnet does, is it opens an opportunity to collaborate. And they understood at this point in time with Crate and Barrel that if we help collaborate with our target audience and help them accomplish their destination, get close to their destination, we're going to map out your room to see how it looks so you'll know exactly what it's like. They are so much more likely now to buy something from Crate and Barrel because they fell in love with the vision of what they were able to collaborate together. Now, important to note, not every person that goes through this lead magnet necessarily buys, but a higher percentage of people that went through this experience bought something from them if they straight came from an ad straight to a landing page that said, hey, come to a showroom and buy our furniture. It was this little piece that ended up doing that. And this is the type of lead magnet, this one-time free service at a very specific moment that is doing so good right now, especially right now when it comes to getting booked appointments.
Oh, that's cool. So obviously you could offer something like this, like what you do for free, but that could create a huge strain on your sales team or anyone. So I'm guessing in Crate and Barrel's case, they probably have built some sort of a technology to make this quite easy for them to offer.
They did. They're using existing software called Floor Planner and other things like that. So a lot of the times they themselves didn't magically create all this stuff from scratch. They're just using and leveraging existing tools to make this process faster. And that actually brings up a good point, AJ, because you're right. Not all companies have the capabilities of delivering a one-time free service. This is just one of those types of lead magnets. But there's another side of lead magnets that do really good at booking appointments. These ones are a little bit more sales-oriented, but they're still very powerful. And if you want to, I could start going into those ones too, if you would like.
Yeah, tell us all about it.
Okay, so this style of lead magnet to get more booked appointments is more so, this follows along with a lot of what Hormozy teaches. This is what you call a Grand Slam offer. Now, when we talk about Grand Slam offers, and for those of you that are familiar with Hormozy's book, 100 Million Leads or 100 Million Offers, the definition of a Grand Slam offer is an offer so good that your audience would feel stupid to say no to. Now, when people hear that, it still needs to be translated a little bit further, because when they hear that, they'll still think, okay, awesome, so I'll just offer a free consultation. And in reality, it needs to be further than that. A Grand Slam offer, how I've come to understand, it's an offer so good that it almost sounds too good to be true. And it's not completely like out of the like lying, but it is so good that you wonder the question to yourself, is that actually true? What's the catch?
Could they actually provide?
Yeah, could they actually do that? Because if they could, man, would that make a difference? And so I'm going to talk with you an amazing example that I found that I love. I love these guys. This is called Zenith Prep Academy. This particular clientele, they're so good. What they do is they help parents, they help their children get into an Ivy League or top 25 university, or at least a tier 2 or better university, and they have a guarantee.
Wow.
And so their lead magnet that they're leveraging, and by the way, that's why I wanted to say it very clear, a lead magnet isn't always something that you have to give. It can also be like this style that I'm talking about, where you're offering something that really sounds too good to be true. It opens a loop of curiosity in their minds, in your target's minds, and they just have that itch of like, is this true? Because I got to find out. That's also what this style of lead magnet is. So these guys here in their landing page, in their lead magnets. And for those of you, I'm just going to read this out, but for those of you that are following along through video, you'll be able to see it. But their grand slam offer is we work with your 6th to 12th grade child to get into an Ivy League / top 25 university, or at least a tier or 2 better university. And if you are not satisfied with the work we do between now and before you hit send, we'll give you 100% of your money back.
Very cool.
They are so confident in what they're doing that you're looking at that, you're like, how's that even possible? And then the best part is whenever you do a lead magnet like this, that's focusing on giving a value, an offer that's so good that you're so confident that you're willing to actually put guarantees behind it, or you're willing to put your word where your money is, you then have to back it up. That's something that's important to know. So with this type of lead magnet and funnel, these guys, as soon as they make a massive claim like that, the next thing that they put in their sales letter of that funnel is social proof. Everything from this point on is to show you the results that they've gotten, who they are, why you should trust them, how that they're able to achieve such incredible results, and their proven track record. It's all about proof from that point on, and they just show it. And then also what I love about this is I go further down, they show social proof as well, where they're highly focused on, hey, what do you call it? Can thousands of parents be wrong? Hear what parents just like you think about us. And so they're going in and showing you like, no, look at all of this social proof of these people that have went through our program that have found success. These types of bold, confident lead magnets, these are extremely powerful, and these are very good for getting individuals to come on. Now, here is one caveat though, because there's one challenge that this brings up that the sales teams are going to have to deal with. Because a lot of the times what this does is the first question that these people come to when they see this is, what is the catch of this? Because obviously there's got to be some catch. And they're curious enough to be on the call, but their guards are going to be up. And so what the sales reps are going to have to do is they're going to have to own any catch. Like, never shy away from if there is a catch, because that's when people get really angry about bait and switches.
Yeah.
And we've heard of that a lot. There's a lot of individuals that we would get on a call with, and they essentially say like, oh, this is actually, it's just kidding. It's actually paid. Hooray. Haha. It really irritates people. But if you don't hide it and you just focus on the outcomes that you can deliver, then it makes a huge difference, because as someone comes on and says, what's the catch? And you essentially share, yes, there is a catch. We are a business that is interested in achieving certain X outcome for a specific type of audience. That is who we're looking for. That's what we can do. And obviously, there are some aspects of this piece that may not always apply to everybody in every specific situation, which is why on this call, not only are you looking for the right fit, we're looking for the right fit as well. And when you own a catch of like, these are some of the things that we've had, but also here's some of the instances that we have had that didn't necessarily work out. When you're fully open about those types of things and then share that this does work really well for this type of fit of an individual, are you this type of fit? They are a lot more likely to have their guard come down, because now they realize, oh my goodness, okay, so you are real. You are not trying to just sell me. You are trying to actually help me. You're in that type of mindset. And so that's what we see when it comes to these types of lead magnets to sale that ends up working out well, is they fully own any catch and fully admit that, yeah, that's exactly who we are. This is what we do. And yes, at some points it doesn't always work, but it works well for these types of individuals that happen to have these types of attributes. And if this is you, then we can promise you that we would be a good fit for you.
So if I bring a really dumb kid to them and they're going to say, sorry, we're not magic. We can't help your D student get into Ivy League schools, but they'd tell you that right up front.
They would tell you, and in fact, they would tell you in all honesty, and usually there's some form of qualifier. That's important to know, is usually there's some form of qualifying stage to kind of protect our sales team's calendars to be able to actually see whether or not they can, if they are a good fit. But they will fully admit at times and turn clients away because they'll be say, hey, like this is the guarantee that we're offering. We're very serious about it. And at this point in time, we don't necessarily know if what you have is the right fit for us. And they will turn away students. And it's important, though, because you don't want to just work with everybody. You really do want to work with your target audience that you feel that you can find the best success with. And so that's kind of the approach that these guys go with. And I know for a lot of other companies that follow this type of grand slam offer that they're offering, it's similar, where they're looking for a specific fit. And if it's not there, they're more than willing to essentially decide not to work with them.
Incredible. Okay, so I think you've given us a really good outline of these are the kinds of lead magnets that work. Here are the things you need to study, research, be ready for your offer, and then make sure you own the catch. Anything else that you want to share with us about making an incredible lead magnet?
Yes. A lot of the times, depending on how well they trust you, is determined of what kind of lead magnet you're going to use. So for example, like I said, I hinted at this earlier, if it's a cold audience who has no clue who you are, oftentimes something like a newsletter or a downloadable is a good way to get their foot in the door. But if your focus is to get more booked appointments, then you're going to want to offer something that is like a Grand Slam offer or a one-time free service up front instead. It can be both. I've had a lot of different successes with other clientele that I've worked with in the past, as well as just kind of studying this on others that are currently in the market that are leveraging these ways. You can leverage both together. You can have a downloadable up front that then leads them to the booked appointment offer by giving them a Grand Slam offer or a one-time free service. But a lot of the times you're going to have to test. You're going to have to figure out which of these are going to be interested. If you offer a one-time free service up front or a Grand Slam free offer and you're not getting a lot of traction, start with something smaller. Start with the downloadable, start with the PDF or a webinar or something similar to just get them trusting you a little bit more. Whereas those that trust you are more likely to want to book an appointment with you and actually get on a call, and then are more likely to actually end up buying from you as well.
Love that approach. Anything else we need to know about a killer lead magnet strategy?
For right now, I'll say the biggest thing that you're just going to have to know for yourself is, where's my customer trying to go? Where are they trying to go? And how could I help them get unstuck at certain points in their journey? And that's my last thing that I want to just share is just really focus on the customer. It's all about where they're trying to go and how you can help them go. And the lead magnets are literally just little checkpoints that help them get from one point A to B. And if you can do that, that is going to help you get booked. That's going to help you get more interested and engaged leads that are then more likely to be actually buying your services.
And Ian, what I love so much about all the times I've talked to you about lead magnets, there's never to me any sort of a hint of we're trying to manipulate someone into doing something they don't want to do.
Yep.
It's always we are obeying the actual laws of marketing and persuasion to give people what it is that they want, and there are no shortcuts. This is just how you get someone to take action. So I love this. I'm eating it up.
Good. No, I'm glad. We are guides. That's all we are. And for those of you that are in sales, those that truly feel helped by you are the ones that close and are the ones that stay. Because if someone gets sold and they feel manipulated, there's no guarantee that they're going to stay afterwards. And when we can help people, we can genuinely help people and on their way to get them to where they want to go, it just makes all the difference, and they are much more likely to be happy customers, and they're more likely to refer their friends to you as well.
Yeah, it's in everyone's best interest. You never want to really disappoint someone, because then it's once bitten, twice shy. You've lost their trust forever. And that's not what we do in business. We want long-term customers. I don't know any great established business that doesn't love long-term relationships. Those churn and burn companies, obviously there's a reason why it's hard for them to generate leads non-spammily.
Exactly.
This is amazing, Ian. I have to ask you, because this is what I like to ask all my guests. I love knowing what people are excited about. What are you most excited about, maybe personally in your personal life right now?
Well, right now, I think one of the things that I'm most excited about is I'm trying to grow my LinkedIn. I love LinkedIn. I love the community that's here, and I'm trying to help as many people as I possibly can. I'm sharing my content, sharing what I can, and I'm excited to essentially serve. And that's what I'm most excited about right now, is to serve the people in the community on LinkedIn.
Amazing. What about professionally? Anything in your company that you're super excited about right now?
Yeah, right now I've got my family's business that I am now a CMO for, and I am so happy to be able to be helping them grow their business. And what I'm looking forward to right now professionally is I'm trying to become essentially a better CMO and to help our company grow to a point where we're hitting certain milestones. I'm trying to move the needle. So that's what I'm excited about most at the moment right now professionally.
Perfect. All right. For those who might be listening and saying, like, I want a killer lead magnet strategy, I could use Ian's help. How do they reach out to you? How do you work? Can you describe a little bit about what kind of service you offer?
Absolutely. So right now, I'm posting on LinkedIn as much as I can about this process and about how you can replicate it for yourself. If you have any questions concerning this type of stuff, if you need help like strategizing or discussing about like lead magnets or anything like that, feel free to reach out to me through LinkedIn. I'm always there to help people. I love talking about this stuff, and I love mapping out people's strategies too. So if that's something that you need help collaborating with someone to discuss about strategy for your own lead magnet to get more booked appointments, I'm always here for you on LinkedIn. So just feel free to reach out to me through LinkedIn, and I'm more than willing to discuss and help.
Perfect. Okay, I've linked to Ian's profile on LinkedIn there in the show notes. So wherever you are, just scroll down. You should be able to find it. If not, Ian Nelson. And Ian, what's the name of your company? So if people have to put in Ian Nelson and then company name.
My company's name is Marketing Nerdy. That is the name of the company that I have for lead magnets. When it comes to my other businesses right now, I work for ASC English. That's my family's company, and I'm grateful to be a part of it.
First of all, I love the name Marketing Nerdy. I feel like I'm a proud marketing nerd. So thank you for wearing that flag proud.
Absolutely.
Anyone who's listening, I would highly encourage you, go follow Ian, go connect with him on LinkedIn, check out the stuff he's publishing. What he publishes works. I can tell you, we've run a lead magnet together, and I'm happy to share my case study here as well at some point. So Ian, thank you so much for joining us, sharing so much value. And any last words, anything we want to hear from you before we jump off?
All I can say is just thank you guys for having me as part of the show, and thank you for listening. And I hope that this is something that at least has a aha moment for some of you that will hopefully help you get more booked appointments.
Absolutely love it. Thanks so much, Ian.
Thanks, guys.
All right, everyone. I hope you enjoyed that interview as much as I did with Ian Nelson. Now, if you are ready to become a LinkedIn Ads 1%er, you've got to come join the LinkedIn Ads Fanatics community. You'll get access to all 4 of our courses that take you from beginner to expert. Plus, you'll get access to the whole community of some of the top minds in LinkedIn advertising who are all sharing what's working for them. There's even an upgraded membership where we get to jump on weekly group calls together. Now, if this is your first time listening, welcome. We're excited to have you here. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss an episode in the future. But if you are a loyal listener, again, we're excited to have you here. Please go do me the great honor of going to Apple Podcasts and leaving a review for our show. It's going to help us reach more of the LinkedIn Ads fanatics out there who need this in their life. With any questions, suggestions, or corrections, sometimes I need those, reach out to us at podcast@b2linked.com. With that being said, we'll see you back here next week. And as always, I'm cheering you on in your LinkedIn Ads initiatives.